Good evening. What's everybody doing on a Saturday night? Where's some of this stuff up here? Hey, Lavina. Hey, Debbie. Recovery member. What's up? Naya. Hi there. Hey, Bonnie. So, this is more of a local topic, but if you guys have been watching, I've had, what's up, Rich? Juju Bean. I've had the candidates for our current 2023 election down here in Brownsville, Texas. And I've had them on over the last few weeks. And then today was the last, there was a forum held by the Cameron County Democratic Women at the public library here. And early voting starts on the 24th, which is Monday. So this was like the last kind of event, so to speak. And I went to it and I saw, I heard, and that's why I asked everyone if they want to get together and just kind of have a last get together, before early voting starts on Monday. And they're still able to talk then and, discuss things even after early voting starts, but kind of like a, hey, Leanna. Hey, Charlene. So I invited all the candidates, every single one, and only a few responded. And that's okay. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Osmo, you ready or you need a minute? No, he needs a minute. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to have a little, I don't know what you want to call it. I was trying to think of a name for it. I know that the final drive, or what do they call it? The final drive. Even that was kind of a last minute something I just put together. I thought about calling it a round table or just a final push, whatever. And so I just put the final drive up there. I'm hoping more join. Some haven't even responded to my invitation. You ready, buddy? Hey, you're back.
Hola.
Glad you made it back safely.
Let me tell you, I'm not even joking. I literally just walked.
Yeah, I know. It was about almost an hour ago when you said you were leaving Matamoros.
Yeah, let me tell you, I went to this amazing restaurant. It's called Son de Dos. Amazing. The food,
Really?
amazing. The drinks, amazing. Everything, amazing.
You said Asian?
Huh?
What kind of food?
No, everything. Drinks, food, everything amazing. It's actually like a pub, a bar pub type of food. Amazing. They had this elote. Amazing. Just the corn is on there, and they had this like burnt cascara melted cheese on top of it. It's amazing. Cauliflower, amazing. It's just great food.
Oh, nice. So you just went over there to eat. Is that
No,
all you had?
I actually went to marry folk. I did a wedding, but did a wedding and sure enough brought myself straight back. But I stopped there to eat. I've been wanting to eat there for a while, and since I had a little bit of time before this was going to start, I said like, yeah, sure. And I thought I'll be at the office. This way I have like my clothes hanging out. I'll be at the office or I'll be at the house. But
Yeah.
I just got here right now, so I said, nah, I'll stay at the office.
So let's see. Oh, let me send this. Kathy needs the email link. Okay, I'll send it to her email. Chuck is asking about your new ride. I thought I saw something different. Different colors. It must be different. So you got a different car?
We bought a Corvette.
No, get out of here.
Not even joking, man. It's a Corvette. And one of the things, and I told Avram, I said, you know what? If it's going to happen, it better happen now, because I don't want to get elected as mayor of the city of Brownsville, and then they have to answer like, Erasmo got elected, then he bought himself a Corvette. It's Avram's car. Well, we bought it together, but it's Avram's car, and we made it Mexican, so we'll be able to drive it through Mexico.
Mr. Ernesto Lopez, welcome to the program, and Susan. Hey there.
The Brady Bunch. Dun, dun, dun. That's the way.
By the way, you guys all did great tonight at the forum.
No, I'm not even joking. Let me tell you. And Ernesto knows me well enough that if I thought he did a crappy job, I would tell him he did a crappy job. We all did great. I mean, no one can surpass an Erasmo Castro at a forum. That's just a given.
Oh. Whatever. I definitely look cuter though. Oh
no, Susan. I'm going to put up that picture to prove to people that that's not a fact.
Just because you had a bow tie.
I looked amazing, and let me tell you, they sent me the link to the Democrat women little thingamajig. I look amazing. It's like, I'm like, damn, I actually look amazing. I could not believe it. But more than looking amazing, Manny, I held my ground. And, for some reason, and Susan might be able to back me up on this, for some reason, her opponent and Ernesto's opponent seem to think that they need to go after Erasmo Castro. I don't mind, I do not mind. I'll take them all on. One of the things that they told me is, Erasmo, stay in your lane. Don't go after the other candidates. I'm going to try. But let me tell you, when Ernesto's opponent, Linda Macias, was trying out there to defend BCIC, I said, it's not going to happen around me. There's no defending BCIC. There's no offending BCIC. What they did was horrible. And unfortunately for us, I think all us three here, we answered the question. Whatever question was thrown our way, Ernesto's opponent, and I know Ernesto doesn't like to be all that like attacking people, but I'll do it for him. Ernesto's opponent did not answer the question. Am I wrong, Ernesto? Did not answer the question.
Yeah.
Did not answer the question. She should not be on BCIC. She voted to give all these people that money. She got upset with me. She got upset because I said, hey, Trey Mendez tried to take $200,000. Simple as that. She voted to give him $200,000. And they knew better. They should have known better, because what she mentioned really pissed me off, and I didn't get to address it. Was, it's not illegal. Well, I don't care if it's not illegal. It's unethical. It's unethical from anyone that's sitting on the commission to be granted and given money that should go to the people of Brownsville. Why do they get first dibs on everything? Why?
If it wasn't, then he wouldn't have withdrawn the application. It's that simple.
Exactly. And Ramiro would not have gotten released from BISD. And people didn't hear this part, Manny. And maybe people that were watching my feed, but she was trying to go like, no, nothing. I said, you're trying to tell me that Ramiro Gonzalez didn't direct that money into downtown because the Elon Musk Foundation, out of the goodness of their heart, they decided to give the money downtown? No. Ramiro Gonzalez was the liaison, the middle person between the Elon Musk Foundation and the city of Brownsville. Well, Ramiro Gonzalez says, you probably want to put it downtown where we have buildings, where we're buying buildings, where we're going to apply for the grants. It's the only thing that makes sense. And no one has been able to disprove that. They directed it there because they were going to benefit themselves. And I'm sorry, Ernesto's opponent, Linda Macias, she was part of that, directing that funds, because they're all in that little groupish little thing together. And that's what pisses me off. Because it's illegal.
What is Ramiro? Does Ramiro own something downtown?
Yes.
What
Well,
does he own?
he's business partners with Trey Mendez.
On,
Huh?
on what building or what?
On the Coca-Cola building?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the building, right? But does he have something open right now?
Well, I don't know if they have a business downtown. What Ramiro Gonzalez started to do, they started to invest in the property downtown. And again, Bob Torres, I had a conversation with Bob Torres. Bob Torres got a little bit on the upset side because I think that they threw him to the dogs out there. But that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to pick up as many buildings as they can and then funnel all the resources that were coming into Brownsville into downtown. That's what's upsetting. And what really, really pisses me off is that then Ernesto's opponent, Linda Macias, gets all upset, like, well, Erasmo shouldn't have said that. Ernesto and Kathy's opponent, all of a sudden got all like little prissy, like, well, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. I said, I'm sorry. If they took money that they shouldn't have taken, they need to be accountable for it. And also the individuals that were on that board that knew about this and still granted them the money. Look, I haven't had one individual excuse the BCIC board for all the freaking money that they gave Limas. All the money they gave Limas. And this was Ernesto's opponent and Kathy's opponent. Manny, they extended the historical district to encompass 1848.
Now, 1848 is owned by Limas and who?
Limas and Martinez.
So my opponent is rubbing elbows with Limas and Tony Martinez.
Yes! There's
nice.
Pictures. They're making these meet and greets for him. And let me tell you, Manny, and Susan can back me up on this. Tino Villarreal, for some reason, all of a sudden thinks that he could come after Erasmo Castro. Let me tell you right now, you shoot at the king, you better not freaking miss. And he went at me today. I had heard that he went after me at the Rotary Club at the other candidate forum for city commissioners, but I hadn't heard it. I heard him today going like, well, you want to come out here and scream and, have no empathy and values. Huh? Yeah.
Chuck, that is the place. Was it just me or did you, when Linda Macias came out, she sounded very angry. She was pissed. She was pissed. And actually, I went out there at the end and I was shaking everybody's hand and she was like, ugh, like stand out. I'm like, what? Just because you got called out in a forum? Look, she answered no question. All she did was that cheerleading crap. Give me a yes. And Kathy, give me a yes, Kathy. And Susan, give me a yes. And Ernesto, give me a yes. Everybody give me a yes. Tell me if I'm lying, guys. Tell me if I'm lying or if I'm exaggerating the point. We don't, and Kathy said this perfectly, we don't need a cheerleader. Am I wrong? Yeah, she said that.
Kathy, am I wrong? No te rías.
Hey, let me hear that. Doing industry.
Yes. Doing infrastructure. Yes. Look, and I'm sorry. If we do not point out, Manny, if we don't point out what ails us and what hurts us, we're never going to come to a solution. They've screwed us over on infrastructure. And look, now, Ernesto, you're out there. You're new to this. But where were they 4 years ago about the infrastructure and about the drainage and about the zoo and about everything else? They were nowhere.
It always happens like that, right? They campaign for it back then, and then they're in, and then they don't do anything about it.
Nothing.
Now it's election time again, and now they talk about it again.
Now
it's a big issue.
No, Ernesto, you're new at this. Am I wrong? I mean, all of a sudden, it's important to them. Well, where the frick were they 4 years ago or 12 years ago? Wasn't it important back then? It was, because that's what they ran on. And what did they do? Nothing. Look, now my opponents, Cowan and Jessica, go. I mean, the video's there. Well, this is what we're going to do. And this is what we're going to do. And this, the only city commissioner that actually said, this is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is what I've done is Commissioner Golansky. But the other two, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Am I wrong, Ernesto? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. They were saying that. Yeah.
That's what they said. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Where were you? And why were you so damn silent? And Dino and yes, yeah, John's right. And Oswald's wrong. I'm not your opponent. You've got enough on your plate dealing with that chick, Susan Rubalcaba, to have to be throwing jabs at an Osmo.
Hey, I don't mind. I've got enough jobs already. Dang, man.
So I gotta ask you guys, who's gonna talk? Okay, I gotta ask you guys. So everybody was there except Brian Martinez.
Again.
Jennifer was not allowed. Did she apply too late or something like that?
She didn't pay. She didn't pay.
Well, okay, and then they wanted to charge like $250 at the door.
Yeah, but they charged us $100, and I find it a little weird because I just saw Tino's advertisement go up yesterday. If he would have paid earlier, I think because all of ours, and I don't know, they could probably say this too, ours went up like way back. The deadline was way back, and they've had our political pictures up for a long time. Well, his came up like yesterday. I had never seen it the whole time I was checking to see who was going to be there.
Participate?
I hadn't seen it at all. And then I saw it yesterday for the first time. So I don't think there was actually a deadline, so to speak. But I thought it was kind of unfair that they wanted to charge her $150 more than they charged all of us. I mean, let's be fair. I mean...
Yeah, see, now one person mentioned traffic, but LGBTQ climate change came up. It's like, what? At least Kathy brought up the International Boulevard. And that's true. I mean, not that it's a huge issue, but the traffic light issue definitely did not come up. I was there the whole time, and I didn't hear it come up.
Well, the issue with International Boulevard is all these 18-wheelers going down. This is down at Kathy and Ernesto's district.
District 1 and District 2.
Yeah, it's horrible. It really is horrible. And my biggest concern is it's dangerous. You know, look, right there on International, which encompasses, I think, District 1, right there on International where the expressway meets. I mean, how many accidents, rollovers have we seen about these 18-wheelers? And look, as of right now, two things. As of right now, we've been very fortunate that there have been no vehicle injuries, I haven't seen any. I just seen them roll over, or people injuries, because that is the same corner, Manny and guys, that everyone goes out there and panhandles like crazy, and nobody's out there, checking them out or telling them you cannot panhandle, and that's what's very, 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 very dangerous. We as a city cannot be reactive to things. We've got to be proactive in regards to making sure that this kind of crap doesn't happen by at least, keeping the ordinances that are enforcing the ordinances that are already on the book. But secondly, we got to come up with a solution in regards to International and all these 18-wheelers going down the street. It's horrible. It's a traffic jam, and it's going to cause more accidents. What should have been done a long time ago, we should have had individuals that started to fight for the 511 loop that we were promised. But the problem with these city commissioners is that all of a sudden, all they were focused on was that West Rail Trail. The West Rail Trail that benefits very few, and even the people there in West area didn't want it. That's what's so unfortunate, because all that energy and that money was spent on a trail, a hike and bike trail. My God, we have enough. Instead of the loop that was going to assure that any 18-wheelers coming in from Mexico would go all the way around and go toward the port of Brownsville. We haven't gotten that. And the only one that has addressed that so far, well, I've always addressed it, but the only one that's addressed it so far that is sitting on the city commission is Nurik Golonsky. And again, guys, I've had my issues with Nurik Golonsky. But again, if it's going to be between Nurik Golonsky and Roy de los Santos puppet, you better believe I hope that Commissioner Golonsky gets reelected. It's just as simple as that.
It's just a simple fact of prioritization. Again, we're not prioritizing the basic needs of the citizens first.
And we need
to. Basic need.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I may ask, the program had started, and then, I mean, I don't know, Erasmo might be the only one to go there, but if anybody else wants to, feel free. Jessica Tetro shows up late. To me, not in proper attire, but that's just me. she did say she was black walking and all that, and she had her position at the table. Then she moved way over to the right, to the front. What do you guys feel when something like that happens? So somebody shows up late. They're obviously not in. I don't know. It didn't seem like they were in go mode. You know what I mean?
Go, Kathy. I'll go. I'll go real quick. I promise. Look. First of all, you cannot do it for one candidate if you're not going to do it for everyone. If that was the case, then Jennifer Stanton should have been given the opportunity to pay her money, and since she was already signed up late, just get your came up late, and that's fine. She came in. That's fine. Sit down. I wanted to hear what she brought to the table. She brought nothing to the table. She never answered a question. It's always the same speech. It's always going back and forth to, I'm going to cry.
The first candidate to be written in, a woman to be elected by write-in ballot. Yeah.
Give us something. But they should have been fair. She should not have been given an opportunity to give an introduction and a platform thing when it had already passed. I mean, I don't mind her coming in the middle of the forum and answering the questions from then on, but don't give her time and a half to go back and speak, because she got there late. If that's the case, then let Jennifer Stanton pay the $250 and let her speak.
Well, I think they did allow. I think they told Jennifer pay the $250 and you can speak, but Jennifer didn't have the $250 or have the $250 with her.
Well, it was unfair to charge her $250.
No, yeah.
It's not like it's a club or something, like a nightclub or something, or a concert. They're going to charge you double at the door. That was a little weird.
I mean, I can see them not letting her in without her paying the same fee that we did, because it would have been unfair, right? Because we all had to pay, but it should have been the same fee, whatever we paid. I don't know, $150 or whatever it was. Shouldn't have been more just because she didn't pay.
Yeah, I believe it was $100 fee that everybody charged to their right as an expense. Another question I have: when I walked in, Roy was in attendance, and he was wearing a Brian sticker, clearly displaying his support for his candidate. Was anybody bothered by that, or was that just me?
Well, I wasn't, because somebody was wearing my shirt, so.
No, I don't. Look, I don't mind the fact that Commissioner Santos is out there supporting his person that's taking care of his staff. I don't mind that. What I mind, what I think is kind of like, I mean, let the guy speak. For someone that's in Toastmasters, someone that as a great speaker and he's got all these plans for the city of Brownsville, he hasn't put one single thing up in regards to what his plan is, what he plans to do, what is his platform. Nothing. It's always been Commissioner Los Santos. Commissioner Santos has not only been his speaker, but also Commissioner Santos was the one that went out there and strong-armed the Brownsville Police Officers Association in order to force them to go endorse the individuals that they went and endorsed. It's just that simple. And it's unfortunate that city commissioner will use his position in such a way, because there's no way, guys. There's no way that Brian de los Santos, Brian de los Santos outspoke Commissioner Galan. There's no way that Brian de los Santos, Linda de los Santos went out there and did a better job than Kathy and Ernesto. There's just no way. So you get these individuals that get endorsed by the Brownsville Police Association, and all it does is water down the nomination. Sorry, Kathy.
You can go ahead.
You know that it's so unfortunate, because I know that always that I've been involved, and still, even if I wasn't running for a political position, I had never seen another candidate go to the extreme that De Los Santos has been going. Never. This is the first that I've seen, to the extent that a candidate that's already elected and pushing so hard for candidates, literally. If people cannot see through this, I don't know what else is going to be of this city, because it's very clearly, they have nothing to hold on to with any of the candidates that are really challenging the issues, other than they've been connected between one committee or one board and another board, and then as elected officials. they're all like dreadlocks. Literally, they're so close. For Linda Macias to have deceived the people, literally, and said that she's not linked onto anybody, it's a lie. It's a lie. I have people that literally call me and have told me who is linked onto her, calling people that they're going to pay for her ads, that they want her on a Mexican station, that they want for her to do a video, just like the one that Jessica Tetro had with Enrique Lerma. Literally, I have people calling me and telling me. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I have no links on to any former judge or any sitting judge or any former BISD board member. I am for the people, literally, and will always be for the people. You know, I just can't understand how people can literally either, I'm going to say what the police officer said, he's tired of the bullshit. And that's exactly what a police officer told us when we were in front of them, that they were tired of the BS that everybody gives them. Well, Linda's one of them, and they endorsed her.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted. Okay, so the thing with Roy, did it bother you? And not that we're doubting anybody, everybody's got personal problems that come up and tragedies and stuff. You know what? I'm not even gonna go there. How do you guys think tonight's event went?
I kicked ass. No, let me tell you guys, and I'll say this. I had this conversation with Susan. Am I supposed to behave or I'm supposed to be Erasmo? And let me tell you, I appreciate that Susan said, let them have it. And but more than anything, look, I think people in the city of Brownsville are tired of the political bullcrap talk. And I'd like to get Ernesto's opinion on this. He's newer to this. I think people are tired of the bullcrap half talk of politicians. I don't want promises. I want you to give me solutions. I want boots to the ground. I want some hustle to that muscle, and less muscle and hustle in the boca, in the mouth. We're tired of the lip service. We're tired of all these fake promises. We're tired of these individuals saying, "Oh, well, this is what we might do. This is what needs to be done." What have you done? You've done jack squat. You don't have a solution. Let's get new people in there that are actually going to keep attempt to keep their words as much as possible. But don't you think, Ernesto, that people are just tired of all this lip service?
Yeah, it's the same scripts. It's time for new people to get opportunity. People are not tied to no one. I just believe that overall, I know the city is going forward, and it's been taking a team effort to continue making the team go forward. But it's time to give the opportunity to other people. That time is now.
Yeah, if somebody wants to jump in, I'm working on a
I
question here for
like
you
that
guys.
word. I like the words that Ernesto used. It's the same script, and people really need to wake up and look for the organic, type candidate that
Original.
Yeah,
original and wholeheartedly truly mean what we mean from here and from here.
Yeah.
Well, go.
So one of the things that I've been doing an actual report. We've been going to a lot of homes, and I'm not spending money in other types of advertisement. More door to door. We have a lot of different volunteers, friends. They've been helping me to go door to door, and we go to door and we ask questions of the concerns. But for me, for example, if I don't get elected, that report I'll give it to Kathy if she's the one that gets elected. Or if someone, basically, I'm here to help whoever wins. If it's me, I know that I can call Kathy. Kathy, you know what? What was your ideas? What was your approaches? So I can also use them here too, and ask people advices, and also keep the community involved when they're gonna vote for something. ask the citizens, hey, how should we vote for this? Because I'm just representing you. It shouldn't be my vote. It should be everybody's vote for things that can affect the city.
Right, because we all have one common goal: the betterment of Brownsville, regardless.
So one question I do have: how do you guys feel when someone is raising and spending upwards of $100,000 for a campaign of this type?
Well,
obviously, it's not a paid position, right? But that's a lot of money.
I made mention of that tonight because, and I wanted to close with that actually because it is our last forum before early voting. Look, guys, someone who just spent $100,000, and both my opponents has spent in the upwards of $100,000 on a campaign that literally pays nothing. The only thing that it means, Manny, is that we, the community, are going to be paying for that money, but we're not just going to be paying for the $100,000. Multiply that by 10 or 100. We're going to probably be paying out in the upwards of 10 to 20, $30 million for each one of those candidates, because those monies are being put into their pocket. Look, it's the same thing with Linda Macias. You really think that all the money is coming from her? Of course not. Dino Villarreal, you think the money is coming from him? Of course not. It's all coming from special interests. I don't care what they say. I don't care how they try to hide their little reports. They refuse to answer questions, because if Linda Macias would have been honest in regards to her relationship to the individuals on the board, she would have also mentioned that she has little interest going up there with some warehouses at the airport. But nobody says anything. Nobody cares to disclose. They avoided the questions. She would not have avoided the questions in regards to her giving Lima's people hundreds of thousands of dollars for 1848 and for other ventures that they have, because they think that they're not accountable to anyone, that they don't have to answer to anyone. That is why she is going door to door to those 1,200. Now, because all of a sudden it was 1,000 last forum. Now it's 1,200 doors that she's knocked and talked to these people. Well, she's going out there and she thinks that I don't know what the frick she's saying. She's going out, and I called her out on it. She's going out there and saying like, well, you can vote for whoever you want, but I can work with John Cowan. No one gives a rat's behind who you can work with, who you can't work with. What, to give them more money like you've already have while sitting on the BCIC board that you refuse to resign from? Refuse. Why? Because it's a moneymaker. Because they funnel the money to the people that are putting money into their campaign. That's why Jessica Tetroe, John Cowan, Linda Macias, that's why they haven't resigned on any of the boards that they're sitting on, because it's still an avenue to funnel the money to put into their campaign to run this damn race. I'm running this race with $300 so far, and I haven't reported the $100 that I gave to the Democratic women, so I'll do that on my next report. I'm running this campaign with less than $500. These people are paying $100,000 a piece each.
You're not going to win the sign war.
I'm not going to win the sign war. And look, and I can say this con todas las tatanacas. Susan's opponent, Kathy Ernesto's opponent, my opponents, all these, Brian de los Santos, all these people, guys, all these people are having money put into their campaign because they're expected to pay it back if they win. This is why people of Brownsville, they cannot win. We have to take these seats from them. We have to make them pay for what they've done.
Yeah, one of the things I heard, and honestly, I do think about it, but I'm not all in that it's a real pressing issue right now, and that's the topic of global warming. And and honestly, it kind of threw me off guard a little. I was like, "What? Global warming? What?" And I mean, do you guys really?
There's more important things locally that we should have been questioned on that are affecting us locally. But
yeah, every natural disaster or issue that's supposed to happen, we're supposed to run out of oil. This was in the 70s, and we're supposed to run out of. I think the ice was gonna melt, and then and then all the shores all the shoreline communities were gonna be underwater. And for each one of those, they said, "Oh yeah, in 10 years. Oh yeah, in 10 years. And oh yeah, in 10 years." And where are we? We're in the same place we were 40 years ago.
and this is one of the reasons why, I made mention. I tried to make their talking point into a local issue. Look, and this is why I mentioned the hurricanes. We're not prepared for hurricanes. We are
No.
not prepared for
No.
hurricanes. And
This city will struggle tremendously as
Guys,
soon as we get hit with a major catastrophic event with Mother Nature. I remember when I was on the school board and Judge Cascos and I met, and it was him and I was the board president then, and it was amazing how we would start the preparation prior to getting into the inclement time that we had to make sure that everybody would be ready. From the state to the city to the county, you name it, because we knew, even federal with FEMA, to make sure that our citizens were going to be ready, and we were going to be ready and prepared for whatever would come to us.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't see any of that happening. There's
Zero.
no bond or communication between our entities, whether they're local, whether they're state. Today, I saw the most horrifying view as people were walking down on Boca Chica from that place that's over there in Minnesota. What's it called? That nonprofit.
Ozanam.
Yeah. Groups, and I took films. I took films of it as I was driving through there because I had an event right there in that side of town. And there was groups of 15, 20 men walking towards four corners. And I had video. And let me tell you what's happening. They're letting them walk out around the neighborhoods, and that's it. They're letting them go. What's going to happen to our city? What challenges are we going to face? The city is on autopilot. Honestly, the city has not done much for us, and they're not ready. They're not. They're not ready for anything. If we don't have a balanced budget, we are short-handed in our police department, in our public works, our landfill, we have issues. We have areas where we're having to pump in money because we're losing money. What's going on, guys?
Well, let me real quick. Look, it's very evident, guys. What happened in the freeze? During the freeze of last year or 2 years ago, during the freeze of 2 years ago, guys, we were caught with our pants down, literally with our pants down. Guys, they didn't even have generators. They didn't have generators at the FEMA dome. The FEMA dome that's supposed to house the individuals that are in utter need of some type of shelter in case of a catastrophic incident. And the excuse that the mayor gave and the city commission was, well, it was unexpected. Well, my response was back then is the same response that I'm giving now. Well, you had to have been prepared for something, because if we would have lost power, if we would have had a hurricane come in, we would have lost power for 4 to 5 days. Same way, guys, 4 to 5 days. We would have been out of power and our city's streets would be flooded. We had no FEMA dome. We had no generators out there. They didn't even open the FEMA dome until 3 days later, guys.
Yep.
And this
for only 24 hours.
And this, yes, for certain hours. Right. This just goes to show that we are not prepared for anything, and that's concerning to me because I think Susan mentioned or someone mentioned that one of their biggest concerns was safety, which I'm all for safety, of course. But again, we've got to be prepared for something for this community as a whole, because again, something that Susan mentioned. She's not going to struggle with the electricity bill. I'm not going to struggle with the electricity bill because my parents pay for it. I'm joking. I pay for my own electricity bill at the office. But we're not going to struggle. What concerns me, Manny, is the ones that are affected are the poorest of the poor, the elderly, the special needs, the tios, the tias, the ones that Susan mentioned. Those are the ones that will suffer because we are not prepared for a hurricane. Those are the ones that suffered during the 4 or 5 day light outage. Those were the ones that suffered during the PUB Tenasca fiasco, guys. in regards to the amounts of exorbitant amounts of money that they had to pay, because it's always the weakest amongst us that suffer, and no one does anything except promise to fix things if they're elected, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's been my biggest issue is Brownsville's been the administration has been reactive, not proactive. Every time there's a thunderstorm coming or the threat of a hurricane, you can pick up your sandbags like the day before it's going to get here, not like 5 days before or a week before, the day of, the morning over, the day before. And then everybody's got to work, everybody's got to make their plans, and then you can only get 2 or 3 sandbags and stuff. I mean, that's reactive. You're never going to get anywhere like that, right?
Yeah. So we have to have better contingency plans. Like in the military, we rehearsal battles before even going to war. So like the military is training and training and training. We're not in war with no one, but we're still training. The same thing, you can apply it in the city and have contingency plans for when a disaster happens. Do not wait for the moment something happens, because you're not going to be able to organize it. For example, like 3 weeks ago when it was raining, not even in 30 minutes of rain, Boca Chica Boulevard was already flooded.
Yep.
And that's like ridiculous that it doesn't take that long to fix roads. Like it seems like they just fix them and like partial repairs to continue to be able to charge more money over and over and over instead of fixing something at one time. And that's you need to have people that are knowledgeable within construction and say, you know what, like what's going on with this? And if the companies that we're hiring are not delivering what the city needs, get another company. Don't be using the same people.
Yep. He's absolutely right. And not only that, but accountability. I mean, if you've hired someone to do the Boca Chica drainage and it's not done properly, then don't hire them again to do another drainage. I mean, it's obvious that we have a problem throughout the city where our drainage repairs are not being done properly if we're still having the problem. And Boca Chica is a prime example of it. And as far as the emergency, like Yadazma was saying, emergency preparedness is prior to. It's a proactive thing, not a reactive thing. And, in the home health setting and other healthcare settings, emergency preparedness is huge because we have to make sure that all of our patients are taken care of prior to and leading up to any natural disaster. The city should already have that in place. There shouldn't be this back and forth on when are we opening? Are we going to open? Is it bad enough to open? No, you just open the shelter. You have it ready. You have it going. And when people need to go, they go. There shouldn't be a restricted time frame for that.
How do you guys feel about somebody made the comment? I think it was Ernesto. If it wasn't, correct me. But somebody said anybody in the commission or somebody representing the city should not be able to do business.
Right? That was Ernesto, because he has a business.
And because what I do notice, and Osmo's always calling that stuff out, is people get voted in, and all of a sudden, just like in the presidency of the United States, politicians in the government, they become wealthy and they gain things all of a sudden, that they wouldn't have gained before, or they might not have if they were not in office. And I think, I do like that. I mean, to a certain point, but I think that should be some kind of a thing. You shouldn't be allowed to all of a sudden buy all this property and then take money from residents that are supposed to be applying for this stuff, and local businesses that are supposed to be applying for this stuff that have been there already and they're not getting the money.
Yeah, as a public servant, there shouldn't be no reward with money to benefit you or your family or people that you know. We should basically give back to the community and save money instead of trying to pocket it, and give opportunities to other people. If you want to become wealthy, start a business, work somewhere else, but don't get involved with politics. If you have a business and you're a politician, your business should not be your priority. The citizens should be your priority. So if you have a business, you shouldn't be doing business with the city, because that's unethical. Like it's not illegal. Yeah,
It's not illegal, but it is. It's hinky.
it's
shady.
it's taking advantage of a position and taking advantage of the people that are not paying attention where the money is going to.
Because it's like insider trading. Because you guys know a lot of the first
Yeah.
things that come out, or where money's available, where, or
Yeah, but
projects that are available, or whatever.
Mike, and I shared this back with when I had again. I'm the only one out there, guys. The only mayoral candidate that actually had, a back and forth with the mayor of the city of Brownsville, because I was the one that uncovered the $200,000. It was me, guys. So when I went out there and I said, "Well, Trey, don't you think?" And look, I had this conversation with him very, very publicly. I said, "Trey, it's just wrong." He goes, "No, Erasmo, you're wrong. It's not wrong. I followed the guidelines." I said, "Yes, Trey." He goes, "I did nothing illegal." I said, "Yes, Trey, but who wrote the guidelines? Who set the guidelines?" It's like, and look, they do it in all aspects. And to anyone working at the county, this, guys. It's like there's a job position, and well, I want to give this job to Ernesto. So, the individual that is going to, get this $200,000 a year job has to be, 6'2", have a goatee. It's pretty ugly, and not have hair on his head, and had to have and it points to Ernesto. Pues ya sabes, it's going to be Ernesto's job, because that's what they do. They curtail the requirements. They put the guidelines to fit that one person that they want. That 1848, the Limas, the Coca-Cola building, that Solada crap thing building that they built where that Goodyear tire used to be on Levy Street. They fix it up so that Solada, whatever the hell the company is, but they fixed it so that they get it. And they said, it's not illegal because we followed the guidelines. Yeah, you set the guidelines. So it's an ethical. And that's the issue that we have. Pero ¿de qué sirve, Susan? ¿De qué sirve to go out there and complain about them doing crap that's unethical if they control the ethics committee?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me say something about Ernesto tonight that he really hit the nail on the head when he said this. He said, if I'm elected, I will remove myself and my business from the vendor list for City of Brownsville. But then he went further and said, my family is aware that they will need to remove themselves as well. And that's the mindset that we don't have right now.
Zero.
Leadership is that it's not just about you. It's also about who else can get those kind of benefits that are very close to you. And that's the definition of a conflict of interest. And we have to be very careful with that.
Indeed. Another hot topic that I know when the words or the letters were spoken, everybody was like, "Ooh," and that's the LGBTQ issue. And my thing is, was it really? And again, anytime you talk about this, you have to say, "Oh, I know gay people. They're my friends. I grew up in a gay neighborhood in Chicago. I was raised around them. I got no issues with the LGBTQ community." But was it ever a real issue that we needed to have a task force? Like, hurry up, we got to do a task force and put this group together. And what are the accomplishments there? What is the task force doing? Does anybody know?
You see, the problem is that when Roy de los Santos was elected, right away that started to kick in gear. Not only that, but Jessica Tetreault was so close to him that they knew what they were going to start doing. They knew they had a mission or a vision. Their vision, that was their priority. It wasn't anything else. Our city streets that are really bad. I mean, people are just struggling with their vehicles because every street they drive through is in bad shape. But she said it there that she almost started crying because she was had experience, and she tries to connect and engage in these little stories that she has to tell, and to make the people feel that compassionate. But we all have feelings. But what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And at the end of the day, we need to understand, yes, they want to have their thing, they're doing, But lately, it's becoming so in your face type of deal. And I think that a lot of the people are starting to feel not uncomfortable, but they're getting a little bit concerned about in the direction we're taking this. But if we all learn to respect each other and draw the line, we're no one to judge anyone, by all means. We're not here to judge each other. But we are here to be able to make it clear this is where we stand for the sake of everybody, every group. Because if we start caving in or catering to a certain group because they feel that we're homophobes, which we're not. We're not. I think a lot of us that were born in the 60s or the 70s or in the 50s, they had been accepted a long time. They've always been accepted. We've known of them. But all of a sudden, somebody wants to create a little rainbow flag, and each color has a meaning. So you connect it to the meaning, and then the LGBTQ, the meaning, right? The acronym for what it all stands for. And we all know that. We understand. That is what that is who you are, and that's fine. But where do we draw the line for our children? We just they were going to have a meeting with the city of Brownsville on the 20th, I believe. It was with the BISD counselor. Superintendent was not aware that there was a lead administrator counselor that was going to be presenting in the city in a Zoom meeting with Roy de los Santos regarding the LGBTQ. I don't know if some of you were aware of it, that agenda item that went out. And the counselor was like lead counselor, something like that. Well, guess what, guys? They ended up canceling the meeting because there were several calls that were made to board members. The superintendent, it's a shame because when I was on the school board, I don't like to toot my horn and I'm not trying to say I have done that. No. I'm just telling you that when I was there, the superintendent had to know every move that the administration was doing. And the superintendent duty was to report to the board members everything that was happening on a day-to-day basis. So this about LGBTQ, I mean, Jessica Tetreault said it today. She spearheaded it because she had this story that she had to share. And then Roy de los Santos comes in, gets elected, and I know he made that the priority. I know that they got it and they engaged. How come they didn't engage to improve the streets? How come they didn't engage into making sure what was going on with NASCA 2-3 years ago? I mean, I don't get it, guys.
No,
these people that have been there or are there are not focusing with a vision that can lead us in the right direction.
Well, see, and what Kathy mentions is just right on point, guys. And look, unfortunately for us, and this is what I tried to say when I spoke, I said, unfortunately, we don't need a group that's going to be focused on this little part of the community's needs. They all should be working on that ails us all as a city. Because, they'll go out there and say, like, Jessica will go out there and say, like, well, we got to fix the streets, and we've got to help the zoo, and we got to do all this. Well, you were out there then saying that, you dedicated a lot of your time to do the task force. Well, couldn't all that energy that was used to do a little niche, a small little group? It's like Rose Gowan. I mean, all that money that she spent on the hike and bike trails. I mean, how many people, honestly, guys, do you all see on the hike and bike trails and compared to the people of Brownsville? None. Go downtown to that. They did those ugly turtles things. They put them on the road, those black turtle things, all the way down Sam Pearl Boulevard and on 6th Street, guys. No one uses that. And can you imagine if all that energy that they expelled on the LGBT task force, on the hike and bike trails, on Jessica Tetreault's Duck Park, on John Cowan's trying to rebuild the El Jardín Hotel, all that energy would have gone to fix the streets, or gone to fix the drainage issues, or gone to help economic development in the city of Brownsville. But no, it's always these little niche, let's make Brownsville into ATX, Austin, Texas. We don't need an ATX here in Brownsville, Texas. We need Brownsville, Texas, period. And let's start working on things that hurt and affect people as a whole and not a fraction of a percent of the community.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about what Jessica Tetro said today. Jessica Tetro said that she was the one that was behind the LGBT task force, the formation of it. And that it was because, if I understood her correctly, it was because of a child of a commissioner that was being discriminated against and not being picked up from the bus or not being waited by the bus or something along that. So she made it sound like it was a child or someone young that was, within that community. So again, I go back to the task force. The task force for me, and which is what I said in the forum, should be something along that line. Someone like a supportive task force or an education task force that's made up of, people of the community that have already been through their transformation, whatever it may be, and they've already come out and they've gone through those steps, and because it's always, I'm assuming it's not easy for everyone all the time, because there's a lot of acceptance that has to go on. So a mother of maybe somebody in the LGBTQ community, counselor, maybe a couple of members that have gone through that and know how to counsel someone or be a support person for someone that's going through that time when they're coming out and people aren't understanding what they're going through, and maybe they're not understanding themselves. That's what I see the task force as. But what seems to be happening right now is that it's just event after event after event to let us know that they're here and they're not going anywhere. There's never been a problem with that, not as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen that kind of discrimination. We're a very accepting culture here, a very loving culture, and I've never seen that where it's like, oh my God, there they are, and let's get away from them, or oh my God, there they are, we don't want them here, let's get them out of Brownsville. I've never seen that before. And so I just think that the task force has taken a turn to where it needs to come back to why are you there? If you're there to prevent and educate so that the discrimination doesn't happen, normally it's going to happen with the most vulnerable, which would be a certain age range, I would think, or someone who's just coming out, or just, and I don't want to say words that I'm going to be attacked on because I don't understand the language very well, but I'm going to say transgender, so transformation, I don't know what it is. Those are the people I think that need the most support, and I think that's what that task force should be doing.
I think they're engaging in a different matter versus really focusing on the needs of the young mind that is struggling in between. There's so much going on. There's what they see on TV, what they see on Facebook, what they share with friends, it's a challenging stage that we're living in nowadays. But a lot of it's because I'm sure parents sometimes don't know how to deal with it, and it's an effect to everybody. But until we come together and we unite and we understand what is really going on, and we place the right and the proper people with the experience, the knowledge, the intellect that can help these people within our community, because I think that's what we're trying to do. If we get elected, some of us have a better view and a better idea and an understanding as we're coming in from the outside and wanting to see things truly change. But tell me, I want one of you to tell me, when have you seen that the city, that the county, that the port, that the district have all been together and discussed the issues and the challenges that we have as a whole?
Never. That's on my platform, collaboration.
Let me tell you, when I lived in Joliet, Illinois, it was what they called a consortium of local entities and leadership, where when Quique Camarena was missing, Quique Camarena's wife was trying to bring forth with the federal, with the state, with her local state and government. She was trying to push so hard for the red ribbon and the understanding. So they created a task force as to how were they going to come into the communities and bring that so people would understand what was going to be the end goal and what was going to be their purpose of this red ribbon and celebrate, in not celebration, but the understanding to bring it to awareness. And guess what? They did. They were able to bring it through the local law enforcement, through the state, through federal. And let me tell you, this was back in the 80s. And she pushed so hard to make sure to bring that into, right now we have fentanyl, right? Coming in on a day-to-day basis. Our crime is increasing. We're dealing with this challenge of LGBTQ, broken streets, infrastructure in dire need. We're not prepared for a major catastrophic event. We're not, guys. We're not prepared. We're richest, wealthiest man that we have in our own backyard. And by the way, people, it's not in District 2 for the city. It's not. Don't let Jessica and Linda and whoever tell you that it belongs to District 2 in the city. It belongs to the county area. And I'm going to tell you, once that rocket hits out there, it becomes federal. We're going to lose those rights because it's going to be, believe me, just look into it real soon. We're not going to have any say in that area. And I'm going to tell you, whoever keeps saying, oh, it's District 2 and it belongs to the city of District 2, we can participate. We should, because traffic comes through our streets. And of course, they drive through county roads. But at the same time, we all need to understand what's going to be our purpose and why people need to elect the people that truly mean that we're going to do business, that we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to get to work. There's a lot going on. We don't have a balanced budget. The guy that left us was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I can tell you, he never impressed me. We have weakness in the administration. We cannot deal directly with administration. We can't do that. But we have the city manager that we need to have high level of expectation, and we need to make sure that she knows what she's doing with the amount of population that we have and with a budget that we don't have balanced. And why are all these other areas being supported with funding that we don't have? We're taking away from Paul to put in John's pocket, and then we don't have in John's, but we're going to put over there in Peter's. It's wrong. We're not running the city the way we should. Well, not we, right? But we're part of the city, so that's why I say we. Because it's not an I thing. It's not an I thing. None of us should have the I, and I know none of us do. I believe that we all are here because we can be a team, a very strong team. But then again, the citizens need to wake up. They need to wake up the sleeping giant. Today I read an article that the Judge Cortez from McAllen sent a letter to Disney.
Walt Disney.
Can you imagine? We're missing out on opportunities, guys, because nobody's doing their darn job. Nobody. We're too busy thinking on other things that really don't make a difference in our community. And I see it in the real estate business. And that's why.
What is the Walt Disney thing?
Oh,
Walt Disney is coming to Texas. So, the Hidalgo judge sent a letter, inviting Disney to come down and check out Hidalgo County. Again, being proactive in regards to, hey, there's something out there that could come to anywhere in Texas. Let's tell you what we're offering. And sent out actually a letter to Disney saying, hey, come visit us there. We'll court you.
It was sent on April 21st of 2023, and it was sent to the Mr. Eager as the county judge of the 7th most popular county in the state of Texas. I am following up with you in the interest that the challenges your Walt Disney World Resort is facing with the state of Florida. Government should always help, not hinder your local business. So let's go back to what the city of Brownsville has been struggling with. Last week, I had to send 2 business people, 2 investors, one to Edinburgh and one to Westlaco. Those two businesses have been trying to visit the city of Brownsville. They went there twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. They got very discouraged. One of them had already lost 5 months paying for a building. Like Mr. Lopez said that he had been doing the same thing. Guys, I see it in this business every day. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. We go back to the administration that we have in the departments, and people do get frustrated. They do, and I that's why I direct them to other cities. So who loses money and the opportunities? We all do. And let me tell you, I can go on and read more. And so let me tell you, this guy says that's why Hidalgo County, Texas is reaching out to you. Should there come a time when Disney begins to exercise any contingency that might include relocation of your theme park in Florida, know that Hidalgo County extends an open invitation to relocate to the Rio Grande Valley. This came in through a message that we connect with realtors on a day-to-day, minute by minute, hour by hour, everything that's going on. That's why when I shared with everybody that I was disgusted and so sad to see that out of 25, we're ranked number 11 with the least prosperity in the U.S.
So another question I have, talking about money and Elon Musk, is there truth to that comment, that statement, that Elon Musk, from the original 10 million that he pledged the city, that he actually withdrew some of that money?
8 million.
That for real happened?
Yeah. Again, I had a conversation with SpaceX people, and again, no part of that conversation, most of that conversation wasn't like, oh, confidential stuff. It was just, and I said, and look, and what they told me was, Erasmo, we didn't give $10 million to the city of Brownsville so that we could get mud in our face. Because if you give out $10 million to a community, you expect to get a little bit of good press, because it's done in good faith, and it's done because of the goodness of their heart. And all of a sudden, you got the mayor pocketing a big old chunk of that money. You got individuals going out there and painting fugly murals down the city of Brownsville. But it amazes me how, Jessica DeTro will go out there and say, well, we got lights and we've got cameras. The cameras were there before Elon Musk. The cameras were there during the Ben Neese. Ben Neese was the one that set up the cameras. It wasn't Jessica DeTro. It wasn't done with the Elon Musk money. It wasn't. Even that substation that the police officers had, that was before the Elon Musk money. That was already there. But again, they try to throw this misinformation. So my concern is because it was being given to the city of Brownsville in intervals, we're going to let you use $2 million, and the next year we're going to get, because that's what they do. It's like the ESSER funds that came to BISD. They didn't get $189 million in a big old check. They got some funds this year, other funds next year, and other funds next year. Well, one of the things that right now that the BCIC is struggling with, and I think everyone's heard this, is that now the little money that they did give to normal small business, well, they want that money back because they didn't fulfill the guidelines that they were supposed to fulfill, because the Musk Foundation was out there saying, like, show me that, that you actually did what you were supposed to do so that we could give you the rest of the money. So this is where that other $8 million comes into play. No one is producing anything, Manny, because it was all mishandled. It was all mismanaged because sweet, amazing cheerleader Linda Macias on the BCIC board dropped the ball because she was too busy giving money to the Limas brothers and to all the other compadres in the city of Brownsville and Trey Mendez and Ramiro Caca Gonzalez. They were so busy giving them money that they screwed the people of Brownsville over. So do I think that it is factual that Elon Musk is going to pull the rest of the $8 million? Yes, 100%.
You know that I'm going to share this with you. When they purchased the Coca-Cola building, that building originally was at $700,000 for sale. That poor lady was taken for a ride, but because she felt threatened by the group, right? And Ramiro Gonzalez knew what he was doing.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was doing. They played her, and they paid for that building under $400,000. That building is 12,000 square feet. It's my understanding from 750, and they offered her 300, and I believe 359, 369. So even if they paid 369 divided by 12,000 square feet, it's $30.75 a square foot.
Wow.
And she was taking, I was so upset. Her ex-husband lives Peralta. It was Miss Peralta. And because I got to speak to her ex-husband up in McAllen, he's got a business up there in McAllen. I can't remember. Art. He's got an art studio. And I called him. I said, wow, congratulations. You guys sold the building finally. He says, Scotty, my ex-wife sold it, but you're not going to believe for how much she sold it for. And I said, how much did she sell it for? And he told me, and I said, no way. I said, how? How could she have sold that building for less than $500,000? No. It was, these guys had a plan.
No scruples, no morals.
They don't care. They didn't care. This guy did that state of the art, but it's an elite group. Were you invited, Mr. Lopez, since you work with Elon Musk out there in SpaceX, to participate or no?
No, like it's been a couple of months that I haven't worked at SpaceX. Right now, we're building homes in Brownsville.
Oh, okay.
I was there for almost 2 years and a half, but now we transited into building homes.
Oh, that's good. We're gonna let me tell you what happened when Elon Musk came here. We had a really hard time trying to place some of these people in their homes. And this is what I tell people. Homes are still going to be purchased for those people that truly want to own their own homes versus having to pay rents. When they do the numbers as realtors, we tell them, okay, do you prefer to spend all this money in rent, or do you prefer to be a homeowner and still, have that pride of home ownership? And the day of tomorrow, you're not going to lose your money, because when you pay rent, you pay somebody else's mortgage, right? That's what you're doing. You're paying on somebody else. But we always try to push for people to try to buy their homes and have that pride of home ownership. And we guide them and we educate them and we give them the best scenario. But that's good, because homes are still going to sell. It's slow, but it's steady. That's where we're at right now.
So I have a question for you all, and we'll kind of start to wrap it up with this. How do you propose to fix the problem of what she just said? Pride of ownership, pride of, caring about where you live, caring that there's no trash out in the streets, dumping your garbage out your car door, out your window, throwing your garbage out in the alley or in the front of the street. There's garbage in a lot of places, and then when the wind picks up, it just spews it everywhere. And I see a problem with pride of ownership. Yeah, people don't care at all. It seems like. Is there any remedy for this?
I'll start off.
You always go first.
I always go first. I'm going to do it real quick. Look, we got. I know. I'm sorry. We got to educate the people of Brownsville, but I think what's happened is that people of Brownsville have become so disillusioned with everything that happens around them. And we've all heard it. I'm sure everyone's heard it. Todos son igual, nada cambia, nothing's, why vote? It's not worth it. They all screw us over. And what's happened is, and I'll do this, I've shared this before. It's when they put up benches at Morningside Park. They put up benches at Morningside Park, beautiful new benches, Brownsville Parks and Recreation did. The next day, you go out there and look at the benches. They were all marked, tagged, and rayadas with a knife. What happens, guys, is the people of Brownsville don't feel ownership to the city of Brownsville. They don't feel that it's theirs. So why take care of something that's not yours? And they've been made to believe this, guys, because of these crazy ass politicians that continue to funnel the money and the resources that belong to Brownsville as a whole. They funnel it to that 1%, to the Limas, the Trey Mendez, the John Cowens, the Marines, all these little people. So the people of Brownsville go like, screw it, it's not ours. We don't care. We have to re-educate individuals and let them know you are the government. This is your property. This is your city. Let's keep it beautiful. Let's keep it clean. Let's work together to make it prosper. But nobody feels that because Trey Mendez, John Cowan, Jessica Tetro, they all diverted the funds that should have gone to everyone and they put it in downtown. And I don't have anything against downtown. And let me say this. I work downtown. My sister owns the building that I'm at right now because I'm at my office. My father owns the building next door. They are all downtown. We own property downtown. I still want the resources and the money that come to the city of Brownsville to go to everyone, not just my parents, not just my sister, not just the selected few that have property here downtown. I want it to go to everyone so that everyone can feel that it is your city because it is your city. That's what we need to educate folks on. And
So there's several issues, Manny. One is that the citizens don't feel like they're involved. They don't have any motivation to do anything within the city because first and foremost, we should be leading. And if your current leadership is not doing anything to help that, then why are they going to follow? You're always going to have that select few of people that are not going to follow those directions. They're not going to want to help clean up. They're not going to want to be involved in campaigns. And that's okay. But sooner or later they will, because once everybody starts doing it, then it's going to become popular. We have to have cleanup campaigns in the districts. We need to work with the landfill and allow the people of each one of those districts in certain times and days of the month or maybe quarterly be able to take and dump whatever they want over there without charge. I think we're limited to 4 tires. We need to have a tire dump day. We need to facilitate the citizens to be able to clean at no charge, but together. And once they have that teamwork and they do that together and then they see the results of it, then more and more people are going to want to be involved. But the bottom line is that we have to do it. Up here, it has to start. We have to facilitate it by giving them the discounts or the freebies or putting the dumpsters or whatever it is, being out there boots on ground with them, cleaning up the districts, and then it all trickles down. But if you don't have it start from here, nobody's going to do it. I can tell you that when I went to go volunteer with Richard doing that cleanup at the port, one of the bridges at the port, I was appalled at the amount of trash out there. Appalled. I felt like, oh my God, why haven't I ever done this before with Richard? I mean, we've done it before in the neighborhood. You take a little bag, you pick up stuff, whatever. But to actually be out there and see that, I mean, my husband went with one of the other guys in a truck to pick up the tires that were out there. There was a refrigerator out there. There was a car hood out there. So it starts with somebody really, giving the opportunity to people and facilitating it and then showing them, hey, I'm out here doing it too. I'm your commissioner. I'm out here picking up trash as well. And then it trickles on down. And then the citizens start to have pride. And then what happens? We beautify Brownsville.
They'll have pride and they'll have respect and they'll understand. You see, a lot of people don't know that there's restrictions in neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods, when the developers develop the neighborhood, they put restrictions. This is the size of the home. The home must have a carport or a garage, and that is just the way it is. That's the way it goes. But when you don't educate these people and they don't know that they're buying and they need to have that home clean because it's going to affect the rest of the neighborhood, one rotten apple in a neighborhood will mess up the entire neighborhood. It will, because it sticks out like a sore thumb. But I think people, it's not their fault. It's not always their fault. It's the leadership. Remember, a city is only as good, a city and the citizens are only as good as their leadership. If their leadership is good, strong, united, and positive, a flow goes through the entire city, because you go parts of the cities and it feels bad. It feels like with distress. It does. And I'm driving all over town. Trust me, I see it every day. Traffic, bad streets. Oh, today I was so happy that I got almost like about 10 traffic lights from when I started to where I ended with all green lights. They must really be working on it.
Nice.
Again, it's an election time. It always happens during election that they try to do something and wow us. Oh, okay, they did it. Let's go vote. And that's why we have what we have sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank all of you for participating tonight. And I know it was a very short notice thing. And I just figured it was a good time to kind of let's get everybody together before early voting starts on Monday. And early voting, where can they go? Can they go to the libraries or anywhere?
Library.
Public libraries, Cameron County.
Horizon.
Verizon?
Horizon. Yeah.
Horizon, right here by Price Road. And then we have the one at the university. Is the university going to have it also?
Yes.
It's a UTRGV at the Student Center, right, or something like that?
Cameron Park.
Cameron Park, 2 public libraries, Horizon Clinic on Price Road, the university.
Courthouse.
Right? The courthouse, 6 places.
Yeah, the
You have
courthouse.
6 places.
So everyone, please go out and vote. Encourage your family and friends to do so. He said it before, and I've been saying it since. If you don't vote, you suck. You have no right to complain. And I think right now is a good opportunity to get some good people in with the city. And right now is a really good time. We've got some really good people out there who need to be in there doing stuff for us and representing us. Thank you, everyone. You guys did great today. And maybe we'll talk again before May 6th.
Thanks, Manny.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Good
Enjoy
night,
the
everyone.
rest of the evening and have a safe Sunday. Bye, guys.
Everyone, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch.